gives you some value. I hope you take a little bit and you love it and this helps you. We're going to have a conversation at the end of this and questions, and I'll bring up some other stuff where we're competitors and things like that. But this is a majority of like getting you in the mindset of like, this is how cool and great our company is, where we can be, how important we are, and why other people want us. That's what this is supposed to give you. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Boom. Can you guys see my screen? Boom. Okay. Sounds awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So I said why PHP. We always go over this, right? We always say like why PHP when we give our 2-minute story and things like that. I'm saving my 2-minute story to the end. But why PHP? This little twist on a regular version of why PHP. So everybody knows this, the cash flow quadrant. Everybody gets this. You've seen this before. Your employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. What we really want to do is we want to move into that investor realm, but be a business owner. Like that's what we're thinking about. So if you're doing that, like, why are you important? Do you ever see any other companies coming at you and saying, hey, well, you're running an awesome business. That's great, but why don't you come run my business? Or you're really good at what you do. You own your own, I don't know, you own your own restaurant, but why don't you come work at my restaurant? You ever have anybody doing that to you? If you were, probably not. They're not going to do that because they're like, it's your restaurant. They're not going to do that to you. But we have people doing that to us in our business because they don't think we're running our own business. That's how they see it. They think you're just a pawn, if you will, just somebody to run something else, somebody else's business. I've actually had a guy ask me personally, say, hey, yeah, you want to come help me run my business and build my agency? I'm like, do you not know that I'm a broker in a company right now? Like what? That's like a chip on my shoulder right now. Like I'm about to go crazy. But understand that you want to get to this right side. You want to get to the business owner aspect with the investing capabilities, the equity. So I'm in the military. As a military person, we have things that everybody doesn't always get. So a lot of people want this kind of stuff. So as a soldier, I was an intel guy as a soldier. So it costs between $3,000 and $15,000. Let's see if I can do it this way. It costs about $3,000 and $15,000 to obtain a clearance. Okay, so I don't have to pay for that. The government pays for that, thank God. And then after that, they came up with this kind of amount that says about $50,000 to train a soldier. And what that involves, and you go into basic training, you go into AIT, which is advanced training. You're getting all this kind of training. You're getting extra classes, combat lifesaver course, like just little things like that. And it compounds into about $50,000. So they're getting, or you're becoming a soldier, and that their government is investing approximately $65,000, $70,000 in you, right? So at that point, you are what we call government issued. That's where GI comes from. You're government issued. GI Joe is government issued Joe. That's where that comes from. Little story. Okay, so what you get as a soldier, this is what comes out of a soldier. You're disciplined. You have leadership capabilities, or you become a leader in the military. Lack of sleep. There's something about sleep that we don't care about necessarily. So lack of sleep, right? Clear mind and stress. We have stressful things that happen to us while we're in basic training, AIT, and any training that we do. It's stressed on us on purpose so we can have that clear mind when it comes to stressful situations. We become problem solvers. So that's what we all have been taught when I was an NCO, we were taught how to problem solve. Like when you go to the board to get promoted, they ask you scenario-based questions so you can get promoted. Like you have to do that to get promoted. Food's a crutch mentality. So it's a little joke that we always say, but food's a crutch, water's a crutch. It's something we don't need. We just have it, right? We just get it. You eat it now, taste it later type stuff. We don't necessarily need to do it right now. We'll eat it now, we'll drink it right now, but we'll taste it later, we'll deal with it later. Mission over commission. I put that in there because we say that all the time with our business now, but in actuality, it's the mission comes first in the military. That's what it has. Yeah, we have a lot of people in the military, but mission comes first. We got to get the mission done. People are going to die. We understand that, but you have to get the mission done. So about $75,000, like $70,000 up there. So an airman, we'll go to that. We'll say an airman. Same thing, gets the security clearance because all those knobs and buttons and stuff that they push, the capabilities of their aircraft, it's a clearance. And then it costs about $5.6 million to train a fighter pilot. That's a lot of money, right? Discipline, same thing, leadership, mission over commission. They have to understand their vehicle or their plane. They have to understand all these different things. You want to talk about stress? Imagine being a fighter pilot and you have guys on the ground screaming that they need your help, and you hear the gunshots, and you have to drop a 500-pound bomb or something somewhere near them and not kill your own guys. While you're flying hundreds of miles an hour. Like, you have to understand how to do that. And that's what these guys go through, the G forces and all that kind of stuff. So what does this translate to business, right? A lot of people that get out the military, they're wanted so much to be in a business. That's what they want. These guys get recruited so fast. I have a friend that got out the military, and within 2 weeks, she had a job. They actually called her and said, hey, I want to do a phone interview with you because we want you. So we have to do this phone interview to say that we did it so we can get you. That's how bad they wanted it. 2 weeks. They literally were calling her because of what we have, our capabilities, what we're able to do. So say I got out, right? And I was an intel analyst and I want to go work for somebody else. How would that work? So it's just like work for me, right? So say you went to work for the police department and you wanted to be an intelligence analyst for the police department. That's a salary about $70,000. It's not that police department right there, but it might be one that Joe might be familiar with. I'll just say in that kind of area. So $70,000. The police department's budget is $502 million. 2,700 officers at $70,000. That means they're only paying their officers $180 million, which is 37% of their budget. So do you think they really care? Or you think they're happy that they can get somebody without having to pay them for their security clearance? Because in order for you to be intelligence analyst, even in the police, you have to have a security clearance. So they don't have to pay for that. So they don't have to waste their government money for that. They don't have to pay you to really train you because you're trained. You're in the military. You learned a lot of this stuff already. You have all that training. And they're paying you $70,000. That's it. It cost $70,000 for you to get all your training, and they didn't have to do that. And you're getting paid just $70,000 a year. That's it. So of course I want you. If I don't have to pay for any of the training and stuff, and I can have you, and I won't have to get a brand new guy who's never been trained, and I have to spend the money and train them. That takes money away from my budget, right? So no, I'm not going to go necessarily for the new people. I'm going to go for the people who already have what they need. I'm going to go for the people who already have the certifications that I want, because I don't want to have to work that hard. That's what that is. Same thing with the airline pilot. So say this one airline, they give their pilots $185,000 a year, okay? But this airline makes $22.4 billion a year. So that would be equated to one airline pilot making 0.0008% of the profits of that company. So that company has 9,300 airline pilots. All that money would equate to about $1.7 million, which is only 0.007% of the profits of that company. So I don't have to pay. Remember, we said $5.6 million that it costs to teach a pilot. So they don't have to pay you. They don't have to pay the millions of dollars to teach you or train you how to fly. So that money is staying in their pocket. They don't have to pay for your security clearance. So that money is staying in their pocket. So all they have to do is pay you $185,000 a year. And you're like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll do it. That works. So they didn't have to do anything to you. They didn't have to give you anything really except pay. And they got to pocket $5 million. That was the importance in it. It's like they have everything they need. They want to have people who already have the certifications so they can keep money in their pocket. That's what you are to them. That's what that is. So, hey, okay, that's cool. Say that happens and we get to work for ourselves. How about we say we're going to start our own franchise? It only costs about $10,000 to start your franchise, right? So people think that, oh, this is a great thing to do. I'm not knocking it. Yeah, start your franchise. There's other franchises out there. But in order for you to start a franchise, this franchise is $10,000, but you need to be at the store. You have to run the store. You can't leave. That's where you are. You're not allowed to operate any other businesses. You have to operate just this one business. So you have to be at the store, operate this business. That's all you can do. You have no actual equity in the business. It is owned by the company, and that's it. They tell you where to open your business. You don't get to choose where you want to franchise your business. They have to do that for you. And then you only earn 5 to 7% of the gross. So yeah, you only put up 10,000, but you under 5 to 7%. So let's say that Cody was like, yeah, all right, that sounds good. I'm going to do this right here. But coronavirus hits. And your location of where your office is or where your restaurant is drastically hit. Let's say even worse. Let's say like it gets hit by a hurricane in that area. Yes, you have you have your business insurance, but it gets hit by a hurricane. And the area around there is destroyed. They're not making any money. You already didn't have a lot of money. Things were going on. This was going to be your thing, right? Your investment. So now you don't have any money coming in. You're not making any money. You're not able to pay your loan if you're paying loans for this company, for your franchise, and you go under. You can't do it anymore. You think the Chick-fil-A or whatever business is going to be done? Like, that's it? Oh, we're going to pack up, guys, and leave. No, you're done. But guess what? They already established a restaurant. They already have the land, the location. They already have the workers. They already have all that. You were just the general manager. You were just the manager there to them. So thank you for establishing another restaurant for us. I'm just going to get Joel to go buy it for me because he has the money to buy it now, and you're out of a restaurant. Or, hey, mind you, maybe they'll pay out, right? But they're not giving you the total amount. So you're out of it now. You don't have that anymore. So this to show you that this is a possibility, but again, you're kind of just a pawn in the situation. So yeah, you might start a franchise, but the business is getting theirs. That's the whole point. They're getting theirs. They didn't just want to use a green person. They're going to use somebody who invests. They're going to use somebody who already knows what to do. And it's already established for you. The whole system is. So I love this. We have this slide already. This is normal for us, right? We've seen this before. It's in one of our wealth sheets, but I love to show the difference between the industry and PHP. So you already know the average age is 59. The average agent is 35. Quotas versus no quotas. Build your own company brand. If you want to know somebody who's really building their own company brand, Matt Sapala, you hardly ever would hear PHP. You always heard Money Smart Movement. Like that's what you hear, right? Promote through politics versus promote through performance. Very big at promoting through performance in this company. White male dominated versus multicultural. It's crazy how multicultural we are, where I've known people that are Nigerian, Russian, El Salvadorian, like, oh my gosh, the vast amount of what we have here, right? So these are your pros and cons. This is what I talk to people about. So at the end, when we have our questions and answers stuff, I can tell you exactly how I talk to people, but education and training. I've sat down with multiple companies and even agents from different companies, and they said, wow, we don't get training like that. We don't have books like you have. They don't have the education site like you have. They don't have any of that. So we're getting all this training. We're doing all this stuff. You're learning all these systems. You're not a greenie anymore. You're not a new person anymore. You invested in stuff. They're not coming at you when you're brand new. And even if they do, they're coming at you with some little special stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Experience in running your own business. I know people who have started the business right here and have left a business like this and have built their own business outside of that, but they still give thanks to PHP for helping them and build a business because of the things that you learn. You have the experience of running your own business. That's what you get to learn in this business while you're sitting here. While you're making money, you get the experience and learn how to run your own business. Mentorship versus 15,000. What do I mean by that? If you want to say that you had to pay for mentorship, $199, okay. But I know somebody who in real estate, a buddy of mine, who actually paid $15,000 to a mentor. And then the mentor told him, hey, well, and then you got to put some more money up for the house that we're going to start. And I'm going to teach you how to do the house. And then I'm going to be part of the investor with you when I build the house. That's what they're doing. That's what he had to do. And it didn't even work out for him. $15,000. And for this company and the mentorship, Patrick, I have multiple pictures of hanging out with Patrick and talking to Patrick and sitting down. I have multiple conversations with Joel. I have multiple conversations with Curtis, with Rodolfo Vargas. If you didn't know, we're 50% WTP. With Rodolfo Vargas. I can keep going on and on. George Palaio texted Krista, my wife, not too long ago, had a regular conversation. Like, these are big guys in the company that we would want to see as mentors who are able to talk to us on a regular. It's not like I just did a live not too long ago. I said a couple months ago with Matt Sapala on Instagram. Like, these are mentors that we talk to all the time. And then the other ones you get to do, you get to learn how to hunt. And that's the next slide. We'll discuss that. But you have systems. Our systems are in place. Your scripts are in place. And scalability. It all gets taught to you. You don't have to go find this. It's all given to you. Every single part of this. It's in every book that we have. It's an educational website. They're audios you can listen to, like everything is there for you. So then I gave us a little box for cons. Just you have to learn how to depend on yourself, I guess. Is that a con? I don't see it as a con, but that's a con. Anybody else have a con? I left question marks for anybody to throw a con in there if they see one. Um, that's what I don't see any cons, but just let me know. No one's throwing a con. Okay, I was just checking because I haven't seen any yet. But I was just checking about cons because I know other companies are telling us that we have cons to our business. So I'm trying to figure out where those cons are. I've been doing this for 6 years. Haven't seen the cons yet. So, what do you want? Do you want to be a caged lion? What do I mean by that? A caged lion gets fed. They get told when to eat though. They get told how much they get to eat. You know, they get food. They're watched all the time. Or do you want to surround yourself, or do you want to be a king of the jungle and surround yourself with other lions? And you learn how to hunt, and you get to eat whenever you want to. You get to eat whatever you want to and how much you want to, as long as you catch it. That's the difference between what we're dealing with in the industry and what we're dealing with some competitors and what we do. We teach you how to hunt so you can do it yourself. So you don't have to wait for somebody to give it to you. So you don't have to wait for leads. So you have to wait for all those different things that they promise you. But you can go get it yourself. That's exactly what this is. It's what do you want? Do you want to be a caged lion? Do you want somebody to give you everything? Do you want to sit there and that's it? And I'm just going to wait because what if they decide to stop feeding you? What if they try to put you in the wild and like something goes under and they try to put you in the wild and you can't hunt? What are you going to do then? You never learned. But of course, you get to learn how to hunt and then you can get whatever you want when you want it. That's what I see out of that. So, what does everything that we have, everything that we've learned, this company, what it does for somebody? So, this is kind of like a chronological thing for you guys to look at. Like I said, I want to say this kind of to the end. So, chronological thing for you. So, the top left picture, I was in college. I used to do a lot of photo shoots. I was a photographer. I've been a photographer for 7 years. Normally, don't normally see that kind of person. That's there he is. I'm on top left. So, and then I met this wonderful woman named Krista Richardson at the time. Decided to get married to her. I joined the military, joined enlisted. I came in with a college degree, but I wanted to understand what it was like to get my hands dirty. So I joined enlisted. And then we had this little kid, right? So you know how in our little chart that we always talk about, it's you say like they're in 1945 when the soldiers come home, what do? There you go. There you go, right there. Okay. And then I went to Germany for 6 months and I was gone from my family for 6 months. I actually missed my daughter's first steps, all that kind of stuff. She actually started walking 2 weeks after I was gone, which I was like, you really had to wait. You couldn't do it when I was there. But she started walking 2 weeks after I was gone. But this is where our life changed. And what do I mean by that? And this time frame is when Curtis reached out to my wife, Krista, and said, hey, you have a daughter, right? Yeah. You're not doing anything really, right? No, not right now. My old job let me go and didn't help try to get me a new job. So there we go with that. Oh, okay. Well, let me show you how you get a policy for your daughter. And we can get Gerber. Like that's the normal one, right? That's what we always get. That's what everybody gets. No, let me show you something better. And we get one, and my wife was like, that's great. Let me show you how we get paid. You're not doing anything right now. My wife was all like, wait, I can do this from home? Wait, this is how it works? Oh yeah, bet. So then I see some money come out of my account, right? And I'm like, hey, babe, like, what are you doing? What's going on? Where's this money coming from? Oh, she's like, oh, I just started this thing. And I'm like, this thing? What thing are you talking about? Like, you don't just start a thing. And so she was like, just trust me. I was like, cool. So the next picture is me coming home, seeing my daughter for the first time after 6 months. She walked to me, which was amazing. I love that. See you at the time after 6 months. And I came and sat down with her. And I had met Rodolfo at the time, and he's like, hey, this is how he hooked me. He's like, hey, don't tell Krista, but she's getting an award at a big event. You need to come to the event. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, my wife's getting an award. I'm going to be there. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not going to miss something from my wife, especially because I've been gone. So I come to the event, and I see this guy talking. And I love the energy, by the way. And I see this guy talking. Very, very strong voice. leadership. Like I just see it. And it's that guy that you see down there with the red shirt on and we're taking a picture with. I'm like, this guy is something special. And I go up to him and I talk to him. And he's like, oh yeah, I know Krista. I know what she's been doing. Because he actually follows us. And like at this time, we have thousands of people in the company, but like he knows who Krista is. It's really weird. And I'm like, you have thousands of people in this company, but you know my wife? Like, what is she doing? She's doing some great stuff. And then I hear all these different people talking about how important they are, important the things they've done and how they help with people and what they, and I'm like, I serve people. That's my job is ultimate service. Like, wait a minute, like you're helping people? And I go sit down with my wife and I see how she helps clients. And then we're like, wow. So we moved to Colorado because that's where my duty station is. And we sit there and we start helping people. And the first thing we tried to help was my cousin, who decided, I haven't seen him in years. And he came out there and I said, Reese, we got to sit down with you and talk to you, man. And we got to talk to you about life insurance. Like, I'm super hyped. Hope we can help people. And he's like, yeah, I'll come back. And then we talked to him again. And he's like, yeah, I'll come back because I got to go back to Cali. And the third time, I'm like, Reese, we got to sit down when you come back and like, we're going to get you policy. And he's like, yeah, cool. Because he has 6 kids and his wife is a hairdresser and he works construction. And like, we got to set this up because I know it's important. It's going to work. And then he doesn't come back because he gets in a motorcycle accident and he passes away. And I'm not able to tell him and get him a policy because like it's happened to him. And I take it on my fault because I'm like, dang, we just started this business. And I should have talked to him. I should have did that. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't do anything about it now. So now his dad has to pay $10,000 out of his pocket. And now his 6 kids have nothing. And his wife is a hairdresser. So what is she going to do? How is she going to help that out? What can she do with that? You know, his oldest kid is not even in high school yet. So where are they going to go to college? How are they going to get to college? All right, bet. We'll figure it out. But never again will that happen. I will never let that happen to somebody again. So I went hard. The next 3 pictures are kind of together. So Momtrepreneur, you see my wife has my oldest in front of her while we're sitting in our office doing work because that's how we worked. The next couple pictures, that's Robert Greene, my favorite author, signing my book because I got to go to the event and meet Robert Greene, which was amazing, right? Because before this, like I said, you got to think about what this does for you. Before this, I didn't read. Like I never read. I was about 25 here. I never read. I would only read for school if I had to, but reading for what? I could watch a movie. Like I don't have to read. I started reading books. I started reading all this stuff and like building my mind and going crazy. And I actually like was fangirling over an author. Like I love to see him. My wife was like, I got to leave. I was like, I don't care. Leave me. I'll sit here and talk to him. Got to talk to him for like 10 minutes. It was crazy. We opened up our first office as FAs, not as directors, not as marketing directors, as FAs, because we said we're going to burn the ships. Transparency, how Chris was, right? We got to a point to where we didn't know if we were going to be able to pay our mortgage on our house or pay our lease in our office because we were so into this business. And then we started thriving and killing it and just doing what we were supposed to do and building people and doing all that stuff where we not only had the office downstairs, but then we took over the top of the building because we were like, oh, well, we're going to build. Like that's what we're doing and we need more room. So you see us taking some of our team out when they did the PHP bus tours. They actually traveled around on the bus and they did the bus tours and we actually drove 6 hours away because the nearest office was 6 hours away in New Mexico. So we drove all the way to New Mexico to take some of our team members down there. And then we decided to have another child, Abrielle Liana, that's my second child, Fireball, right? Have that one. And after we had Abrielle, I started meeting some other dudes that were really good in their business. And they were coming from Las Vegas, right? And started hanging out with them a little bit. And that's what you see in the bottom, the right middle picture over there. That's my buddy Joel and Luke over there, meeting them at an event. So that was crazy. And we were MDs at this time. If you guys didn't know, we hit MD like pretty much on our own. But we hit director on our own in our own office. And then my wife moved back to Houston, and then we hit marketing director in Houston. But by the way, we did marketing director pretty much part-time. I'm active duty full-time military. So I wasn't there all the time. And my wife is full-time mom, right? And stuff like that. So pretty much hit marketing director part-time. Show you it's possible. So you see the kids. And then I decided to make this kind of crazy switch, right? I switched over from enlisted to officer. And the reason I did that was because I'm a leader, okay? But I wanted to be a leader of leaders. So I was all like, well, the way you do that, you switch over to officer. And this is another key point before I finish with this, another key point that I had. What happened was I messed up in BOLIC. I failed the course. And after I failed the course, I had to write a letter. And the letter I had to write, that was basically why I joined the military or why I wanted to stay in the military. And it was difficult. And the reason it was difficult was because everything I was doing in the military, I was doing in this business. I was building people. I was mentoring people. I was helping people. It was all done in the business. And I was like, the military was great, but I can do this in this business full time. Then we had this other guy. So my last one, right? My son. And I decided, and everybody doesn't know this, but I said, hey, it's time for me to do this like for real, full time. And so as of February, I'm gonna be done with the military. I'm doing this PHP thing full time. So you see right there, you see Griffith Legacy, right? Because we're building a legacy, and that's what we're doing. It's Elevated Destiny Crusaders. And the reason we say Elevated Destiny Crusaders is because we want to help people understand their destiny and elevate it. And we're on that crusade to help teach people and elevate their crusade. So we can talk about other competitors and how you have to deal with them and how you have to talk to them. That's what I really want to do too. I just wanted to show you and give you that confidence, and like, this is what it did for me. It took a person who had no dreams really, dreams were all gone, to a person that reads books constantly and talks books constantly and builds a business, even though he's full-time military, father of 3, husband, and we're still building a business. So people want us because we're great at what we do. People want us because of what you have and what you've obtained. And that's the only reason, because they don't want to have to work to get you to where you are. But your leaders, Joel, like, he's showing you and helping you get to where you need to get to. That's a different person. And I always say this about Curtis. Like, it takes somebody special like Curtis for people who are already leading other people to follow them. And if you look at Joel, a military person, and he's following Curtis, that should tell you something right there. If you look at somebody like me who's a leader of leaders, and I'm already following somebody, that should tell you something right there. I mean, I don't have to, but I am, because of the type of person he is and what he's done and his heart and what I see, because that's what we look at. You know, a leader follows leaders, but it takes a strong leader to lead leaders. So that's what it shows you. That's John C. Maxwell. It takes a strong leader to lead leaders. And usually the leaders follow the strongest leader. So that's how it works. So other than that, guys, that's what I had for you guys. I'd love to go into the questions and anything that you have when you're talking about this business. See if I can. I don't know why.
Let's get into some questions. Let's give it up to Anthony, guys, real quick. I want to get into the questions. I want to get into your experience with other companies when you sat with them. But let's take it in decency and order. There's a question there, and let's talking about leads. It says there, on average, how much do agents pay for leads with other companies? Explain like that process. You pay for a lead, and then what happens after?
Actually, I'd say this. So I lost an agent to a company because they tricked him and told him that they were going to get leads and he didn't have to be part of the company. So he signed over there, and I ended up losing that agent that way because it was a whole nother company. How leads work. So it depends on what type of company you go with, but usually you can get leads between $15 to $25. So it all depends on how new and how good the lead is. Believe it or not, guys, they use like Facebook. They use like certain programs that deal with Facebook. They use certain programs that deal with it might be some other little programs, but I've seen they use Facebook. They're like, it's like Facebook X or some kind of program like that. And you have to pay $15 to $25 for that lead. If you don't want that lead, you can get leads from somewhere else. But if you don't want to spend that much on a lead, you can get a used lead for like $2, but it's already been touched multiple times. So you're not even assured that you're going to get it. It's somebody who's already been called. So you can just use the numbers. Use our 10-3-1 rule. If you're going to call 10 people and you're trying to get one and you use $15, you just spent $150 getting leads and you're only getting one return off of it. So those are where I've seen the leads come from. And those are some of our competitors. That's where they get their leads.
And what's the most expensive lead that you've seen someone pay for? Because I've heard of $79 leads. Those are like the live leads. What's like the most expensive, bro, that
I've
you've
seen
heard?
50. There was a guy I actually sat down and talked to, and I was like, yeah, I don't do leads. And he was like, you don't pay for anything? And I was like, no, we don't. He's like, I was just spending $50 on leads. And I was like, wait, how many leads? It's just one. I was like, wait, what? And he said, yeah, he said live. He said they were leads that like they were brand new leads that just came out, but he was spending $50 on it. So again, use the same concept that we had.
Spends $2,000 in leads every week. So Griff, explain this to people. Like when you're spending $2,000 in leads, you're making about maybe 4,000 per week, but you're spending 2,000. So what would be the difference in here in this system versus a $2,000 investment into leads with other companies? What will be the main difference where what the system that we do? How do we could get out to appointments?
Oh, so the way we work with like referrals is so great because we don't just say, hey, give me a referral. We actually help them with those referrals and have to help them give them an idea on how to get the referrals and their new and their present referrals and their trusting referrals. So you have to even think about it this way. When you get a lead, you're a cold person. They don't know you. And the benefit to our company is when we get leads, or if you want to call them leads, when we get referrals, they're usually from somebody we know or somebody they know. Therefore, there's more trust there. So more inclined to do something with you. Like you said, you spend $2,000 on leads where I don't spend anything, and I sit down with one client and make $1,500 on the low end. So again, I didn't pay anything, and I got a lead.
All right, so Pat is trying to understand this one. You know how PHP does a lot of incentives and a lot of trips and a lot of like GEB bonuses and all that, and also they do like what's the difference between all the resources and the marketing that we're spending into our company versus a company that just pays you a high contract of 80%? Do they even have money to spend back into the field? How does that work? The payment structure where they're not really keeping anything for the company to grow, to invest. What would be the main difference for you?
You know, a question I've literally asked one of the guys that when I was talking to the company, and they were like, "Oh, we do things," and I was like, "What?" Like completely I don't know, but I'll tell you how I've been talking to people, and I asked them that kind of question, and they say, "But I mean, you guys pay for your events, and we don't." But I don't ever see them having anybody that we have. I haven't seen them have a president or a former president come to their event and talk to them. I, I just haven't seen that. So their thing is like we're paying for stuff, but we always say we're investing. We're investing in it. You're learning. Yeah, we Kobe Bryant, our president, Kevin Hart, who's actually said to us like he wants his company like ours. We're the first corporate company that he's ever done an event for like that. He's never done a stand up for a corporate company like that. So those are the things that we get to do that we have that they don't. But I have not seen them. I know they do conventions or events, but it's not going into the company. Like you said, they're not making a lot of money.
We have like 5 more minutes, guys, together. I do want to know I don't know if you know about New York Live. What's their pay structure? Because it was kind of weird how they make less money after a few years. Do you know about their payment structure, their commission structure?
No, not exactly. I would talk to our guys in Florida because I know a lot of those guys. Some of them move over from New York Life. Um, what I remember is the way it sounds. Like I said, don't quote me on this because we can have a conversation with those guys. But you can either be a builder or a producer. You can't do both. Whereas in our company, we can. So I don't know all that stuff. I just remember him saying that. I know Jonathan Mason did a great thing on that, I believe. So could always reach out to them. Another great thing about our company, we can reach out to the mentors who already know stuff that is going on. We just have a conversation with them. We don't have to like sit back and try to figure it out.
Okay, and I don't know if you guys have lost any agents to other companies, guys, but I know that I have, and that's why I'm trying to get better at all this, and I'm trying to learn other companies. But this is your time. There's other marketing directors here that if you ask a question from our experience, I mean, I've been in this game for 3 years. We can help so that doesn't happen to you guys. Because trust me, they leave and then they want to come back, and the trust is lost. And I feel so bad because I love everybody, guys. But if I could have just told here, it's simple. What Patrick Bet David said, he looked in the future and he said, what do I want to be like? Do I want to be a 60-year-old still writing business and bragging about my book of business and still going out there writing business? Or do I want to have freedom after 5 years of working really hard, building leaders and building a base shop? And what I told myself when I told myself, how long are you going to be doing this? How long are you going to be building leaders and building base shops? And I fell in love with this game, man, because I'm only going to do this for 10 years or 9 years, actually. March 2nd of 2029. And we're in the midst of this whole generational wealth and the money transfer and all that. So I made up my mind to become a builder, guys. And a lot of people have not made up their mind. Either you want to be the you're only going to be as good as your best sale. You're going to be a salesman, or you're going to be a builder. You have to make that decision. But right now is the time, guys. We have about 4 minutes together to ask what you're encountering so we can counterattack that. And let's protect our people that have a license, because they will leave and they will want to come back. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. So make sure that you guys ask questions. You guys have Chella here. She's a marketing director, been in the business. You have Anthony. And amongst us, guys, let's protect our licensed agents. Let's protect this powerful license. I'll open it up for four more minutes, guys.
I will tell you this, read the small print, because a lot of companies will show you stuff. And you know how in the commercials, how you see the commercials and there's like all the small print on the commercial, and like you never like press pause next time you see a commercial and try to read the small print. But so for one instance, I'll tell you, like they tell you, they give you a high percentage and then they tell you, you go to your next percentage, right? But in actuality, when you have to do 2 months of a certain amount of money to get promoted to the next percentage. 2 consecutive months of a certain amount of money to get promoted to the next one. They don't say that. They just say, oh, you just keep getting promoted. But you have to do 2 months of whatever the number is. Say the number is like $5,000 or $10,000 in production. You have to do that amount 2 times in a row to get promoted. So just like little small print like that.
Okay, I'll leave it open for a few more minutes. Are you guys encountering, maybe I should ask you guys this question. Are you guys encountering any kind of situations where they're constantly marketing to you, and what are they saying? How do you fight back?
I encountered a Primerica question this week. Well, you know how, are you like Primerica? Are you better than Primerica? What makes you different? Those kind of things, right? And so I was trying to send this person to a BOM, and she's like, well, can you send me a link to your company's website so that I can do some research beforehand? I want to make sure that it's worth it. Sure, not a problem. Send them a link to the website. And then she comes back and she sends me a couple of images and from the website, and they're talking about the return of premium. And then it's talking about life insurance protection in place if needed, in return of premium investments if not. She's circling those as complaints about our company. And so I asked her, and to me, when they start going into that direction where they're like trying to argue with you about which company is better, I've already lost them, right? But I still want to find out what their mentality and what their thought process is behind everything on why they think that, so that if I come into those problems in the future, I have a better solution, or I'm more equipped to deal with those kind of processes. And so she sent me those 2 things, and so I just simply asked her, so are you not comfortable with a return of premium product? And the other one that she complained about was that some of the products don't have guaranteed renewal on the term product after it expires. And so I, simply asked her those questions. And I told her, if you don't want to get with a company that doesn't do guaranteed renewal, we have multiple companies we can do that with. And then that's where she kind of froze me out. So I don't know if I hit the mark on her. Like, I don't know if I just like, I don't want to say put her in her place, but like made her think, oh, okay, I asked some stupid questions, or I made a stupid remark, or if I overdid something. You know what I mean? Does that make sense on what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, that's really good, Cody. And I think you approached it the right way. The main difference, I would say, with Primerica or these other companies that can only offer their product is that they are an insurance company. We are not. We're a marketing firm, right? So we have a lot more options. We call that strength. So we always come back like that. I think you came at her the right way. Let's ask them questions that will make them think. I would say this. I would say, listen, what happens when you have like a 65-year-old that needs insurance and you can't insure them? What do you do then? That gets them thinking,
So
because they don't.
sorry to cut you, but
No, go ahead.
my initial response to her was that Primerica is a great company. We just focus on building leaders so that we can help everyone with a vast array of products, so we can find something for everyone instead of trying to focus on one type of product. That was my initial response to her. And that's what started getting her engaged with me.
I love that. Always say that they're a great company, guys. Never start a combat with them. I think it's better to recognize what they did. Primerica was an awesome pioneer in this industry. Always give them kudos, and it opens it up for us to have an actual, conversation. So yeah, that's really good. And this is what I kind of wanted to do, guys. Open it up for us to have conversations, because what Cody just did can help somebody else on this call when they run into a Primerica agent. Guys, let me tell you guys, FFL is coming at us very strong, but they're going to run out. They're going to run out because we are 10 years ahead of them on marketing, okay? On marketing, on the way we're innovating, on technology. They don't have the money to spend on technology because they don't charge their agents to get in the business. So they don't have resources, all right? But who has come up with an agent from FFL? Because I lost one of my agents to them. Who has been marketed by FFL? Because I'm going to tell you guys a secret here. FFL. They told one of my guys, right? They told one of my guys that they're independent and that, they go in there and they're going to offer you 80% contract. Okay. We terminated him. And the minute he goes to FFL, they tell him that they can't get him appointed. They can't have him work with their company. So he ends up going to a final expense company because they didn't do the research. He owed money to different insurance companies that did not allow him to get appointed with FFL. Now he lost a contract with PHP. He's terminated. And his only option is to go sell final expense. Did he really want to do that? No. But because they don't tell you, and like Anthony said, read the fine print, guys. There's so many. For you to get that 80% contract, there's certain things that you need to do, that you need to have in order, or else they're not going to give you that contract. With PHP, you never lose your contract level. With them, if you don't produce 2 months in a row, I think it's 2 months or 3 months in a row, they drop you back down. So you can never really build a business because you're going to think you're making this, and then you drop down. And then you don't perform, you drop down again. So you're playing this game where here you establish something that is real and that is yours. But with that said, guys, I want to pass it back to you, Anthony. Closing statement. Maybe if they have any questions or they have anything that they want clarity on, let's get them answered. I'm still here.
Yep. Closing. Guys, I've sat down with multiple companies, multiple types, just because I like to hear. I like to hear what they have, just because I want to increase my strength and passion in this company. And I'm telling you, personally, haven't seen anything else out there this great. It's amazing that what we have. I've seen it grow. I wrote this down. GoFundMe came out in 2010. Uber was really in 2009. iPads 2010, IG in 2010, Snapchat in 2011, all in this time frame, and like we're 10 years old too. That just shows you like where we are right now and what we can do and how big we can get. And like a lot of these other companies aren't doing that. A lot of these companies are not as old as we are. And so yeah, they're coming out now trying to do what we did, but we already started it. We already established it. Like we were doing Zoom stuff before COVID even happened. Like we were doing Skype calls and stuff before COVID was even around because we were building it in Colorado and we had that was my cold market. Like the whole Colorado was cold market for me. I'm not from there, from Cali. Like we were building outside of our agents were in like Houston, Texas. We were building outside of Colorado from Zoom and Skype and all that stuff before anybody even thought about that. So that's why we transferred and we were able to move so great. That's where we are right now. Our influence that we have and our tech that we have in this company is amazing. So just know that you're doing great and they're going to come for you because they don't want to work. They don't want to have to build you up. They just want to get you so they can be done. And they can just use you as another agent, as another person for them. And then when they're finished going through whatever, they're gravy. That's it. So let you know that your guys, all the marketing directors here, whoever, we're willing to work with the brand new person and build them as leaders. And all they want to do is wait. They just want to wait for us to build them so they can just take them and not have to work. That shows the type of person they are. Unfortunately, they just don't want to work with those type of people. I wouldn't want to work with those.